Let me tell you something most people never have the courage to say out loud. Sometimes the most powerful response to someone who lost you is your silence. Not revenge, not begging, not proving your worth. Silence. Because when someone walks away from your value, the most confusing thing you can do is continue walking forward. Stay with me until the end, because the final lessons will completely change how you see love, rejection, and your own power. There is a quiet kind of power that most people misunderstand, and it shows up in the moments when you choose silence instead of reaction. When someone loses you, the world almost expects you to respond loudly, to explain yourself, to defend your heart, to prove your worth as if your value were something that needed a presentation, an argument, or a final speech. But real strength rarely arrives with noise. It arrives with calm. Think about the ocean for a moment. The surface may be loud, with waves crashing against the shore, but the deepest parts of the ocean are completely silent, steady, and powerful. In the same way, silence is not weakness. It is depth. When someone walks away from your life, your first instinct may be to chase clarity, to send that one last message, to ask why things changed, to replay conversations in your head, hoping to find the exact moment everything shifted. That urge is human. It comes from a place inside us that wants connection, closure, and understanding. But here's the truth that many people only learn after years of emotional battles. When someone has already decided to walk away from your value, explaining yourself rarely changes their mind. In fact, the more you try to convince someone of your worth, the more you unintentionally place your power in their hands. Silence, on the other hand, returns that power to you. It says, without speaking a single word, I know who I am, and I do not need to prove it to someone who could not see it. I remember hearing a story once about a young woman who kept trying to fix a relationship that was already slipping away. Every time the other person became distant, she responded with more effort. Longer messages, deeper explanations, more patience, more understanding. She thought love meant fighting harder every time the connection weakened. But what she didn't realize was that her constant effort was slowly teaching the other person something dangerous, that no matter how little they showed up, she would always compensate with more. One day she did something different. She stopped arguing. She stopped explaining. She stopped chasing attention that once came naturally but had now become conditional. And something fascinating happened. The silence that followed confused the very person who had grown comfortable with her constant presence. Because people often expect you to react the way you always have. They expect the same emotional patterns, the same predictable responses. When those reactions disappear, they begin to wonder what changed. But here's the deeper lesson. And it's important you understand this clearly. The purpose of silence is not to manipulate someone into coming back. The purpose of silence is to reconnect with your own dignity. It is the moment when you stop negotiating your worth. It is the moment when you remember that your value was never determined by someone else's ability to recognize it. Think of a diamond buried in the earth for thousands of years. Its brilliance does not depend on whether someone is looking at it. It shines because of what it is, not because of who notices it. In the same way, your worth does not disappear simply because someone failed to see it. Silence is the space where that realization begins to grow. It allows your emotions to settle, like dust slowly falling in a quiet room after a storm. And when the dust settles, you start seeing things more clearly. The moments you ignored, the effort you gave, the imbalance you tolerated. Silence becomes reflection. Reflection becomes awareness, and awareness becomes transformation. Now, here's the interesting part. When you stop reacting, life begins to move in unexpected ways. Your energy shifts. Instead of constantly looking back, you start looking forward. Instead of asking why someone left, you begin asking what your life could become without chasing the wrong people. And that shift, that quiet realignment of your focus is where real growth begins. But trust me, this is only the beginning of the journey. The lessons ahead are even more powerful. And if you truly want to understand why ignoring someone who lost you can completely change your emotional strength, you must stay with me until the final points. Because the deeper truths we're about to explore will challenge the way you see rejection, relationships, and your own inner power. There is a moment in every relationship when the truth quietly reveals itself, but most of us miss it because we are too focused on hope. When someone walks away from your life, it often feels sudden, almost like a door slamming without warning. One day you are sharing conversations, plans, laughter, and the next day there is distance, silence, or a coldness that feels unfamiliar. But if we are honest with ourselves, most endings do not happen in a single dramatic moment. They happen slowly through a series of small choices that accumulate over time. It begins with subtle shifts, a message that takes longer to reply to, a conversation that feels less engaged, an effort that slowly fades. It's like watching the sun set. The sky does not turn dark instantly. The light fades little by little until night quietly takes over. In the same way, when someone decides to step away emotionally, the process often starts long before the final goodbye. And here is the difficult truth many people struggle to accept. When someone leaves, they have usually been making that decision internally for a while. The distance you suddenly feel is often the final stage of a process that was already unfolding in their mind. This realization can be painful because our instinct is to believe that if we just say the right words, give more love, or show more patience, we can reverse the outcome. But love, respect, and genuine connection cannot be negotiated like a contract. They must exist naturally between two people. Trying to convince someone to value you after they have already chosen distance is like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips away. I once heard someone describe relationships as gardens. In the beginning, both people water the plants, remove the weeds, and nurture the soil together. But if one person stops caring for the garden, the other can only do so much before the flowers begin to fade. No amount of effort from one side alone can replace the balance that once existed. And when that balance disappears, continuing to pour energy into something that is no longer being nurtured by both people can slowly drain your spirit. This is where emotional clarity becomes essential. Accepting that someone made their choice does not mean you are not worthy of love or commitment. It simply means that their path, their capacity, or their priorities no longer aligned with yours. Think about it this way. Two trains may start at the same station and travel together for a while, but eventually, their tracks can lead to different destinations. It does not make one train better or worse. It simply means their journeys were never meant to remain the same forever. The challenge is that our hearts often resist this understanding. We replay memories, analyze conversations, and wonder if we could have done something differently. But here's a powerful spiritual realization. Sometimes the lesson life is trying to teach you is acceptance, not control. Acceptance does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop fighting reality. It means recognizing that someone who truly values your presence will not require endless convincing to stay. And the moment you stop chasing explanations from someone who has already distanced themselves, something remarkable happens inside you. Your energy begins to return. The emotional weight you are carrying slowly lifts, and you start seeing the situation with a clarity that was impossible while you were still trying to fix it. Peace begins to replace confusion. You realize that your time, attention, and love are sacred resources, and they deserve to be shared with people who naturally appreciate them. The truth is, the person who walked away has already made their decision, but the beautiful part of your story is that you still get to make yours. You get to decide whether you will spend your days chasing someone who chose distance or building a life that attracts people who genuinely value your presence. And trust me, the deeper lessons ahead will show you exactly how powerful that shift can become. Stay with me until the final points, because what we are about to explore next will challenge the way you think about emotional strength, self-respect, and the quiet confidence that can transform your entire life. One of the most fascinating truths about human relationships is that people become comfortable with the version of you they think they understand. They build an image of you in their mind. How you react, how you forgive, how you respond when things go wrong, and how easily they can return after creating distance. Over time, that image becomes predictable. They believe they know exactly who you are and exactly how you will behave, especially when emotions are involved. But something extraordinary happens when you begin to grow beyond that predictable version of yourself. Growth disrupts expectations, and when someone who thought they had you figured out says, suddenly sees a different version of you. Calmer, stronger, more self-aware. It creates a kind of confusion that words alone could never produce. Imagine for a moment that someone has always known you as the person who responds immediately, who explains every feeling, who tries to fix every misunderstanding the moment it appears. In their mind, you are the one who will always chase clarity, always seek reconciliation, always keep the connection alive, no matter how little effort they give in return. Now imagine what happens when that pattern suddenly disappears. The person they thought they understood is no longer reacting the same way. The familiar rhythm of your responses changes. The emotional doors that were once always open are now quietly closed. And this isn't done out of anger or revenge. It happens because something inside you has evolved. Growth often begins quietly. It rarely announces itself with dramatic declarations or loud confrontations. Instead, it appears through subtle shifts in perspective. You start noticing things you once ignored. You recognize patterns you once excused. You begin to understand that your energy, your time, and your emotional presence are not endless resources meant to be given away without care. It's similar to the way a person eventually outgrows clothes that once fit them perfectly. At one time, those clothes felt comfortable and natural, but as you grow, they begin to feel restrictive.